Quite early on during the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, I got back into Warhammer and I thought I would get started with my Dark Angels. And I saw that there was a really good value box called Dark Imperium. And I bought Dark Imperium. Now, if you don't know, Dark Imperium was a box from 8th edition and it was Space Marines versus Death Guard. My intention was sell the Death Guard. That didn't happen. The main culprit in all of this, and this is awful because he's not even painted, the main culprit was this Lord of Contagion. I mean, all of the sculpts from that box were fantastic, but this one in particular caught my eye, and I remember looking at him and thinking, hell, I really want to paint that. Cut to 3 years later, almost 4 years later, I guess. Cut to 3.5 years later, here we are. It's not a bad collection. It's more than I'd ever anticipated. I just really loved the Death Guard sculpt. There was so much character, so much flavor there. And when I did eventually cave and start painting them, they are such a joy to paint. I am serious. If you have never painted Death Guard and you really want something fun to paint and something that's going to be a nice little project for yourself, pick up something that's Death Guard. My method of painting is essentially almost entirely contrast and shades, and it just kind of, it works with how organic they are, it works with how messy they are. If you overspill, if you get paint on bits where it shouldn't be, who cares? They're Death Guard, they're gross, they're messy, and it just kind of plays into their theme perfectly. It doesn't really matter. So I guess I'll rattle through really quickly what we've got from left to right. So we've got 3 Mephitic Blight Haulers. These things, annoyingly, they are push to fit and they're not multi-pose, but you will not find better value plastic anywhere from Games Workshop. I don't know how they sell so much plastic in one box for like half the price of most of their characters. These things are chunky, these things are big, and like compared to, let's say, this guy, absolutely ridiculous value for money. So we've got 3 Blight Haulers, we've got 1 Plague Burst. I really want to get another one. The Plague Burst was a lot of fun to paint. I bashed that out in one afternoon. I still don't know how I bashed that out in one afternoon. The caveat to that is everything here needs work. So nothing here is 100% finished, but we've got things that are well on their way. Unfortunately, it's just how I operate. I kind of jump from project to project to project, get excited about Army 1, then Army 3, then Army 2, Army 4, Army 1. And before you know it, I've jumped across 7 different projects and none of them are finished. Hence why we're in the state that we're in. We've got 1 Foetid Bloat Drone. This was from the Dark Imperium kit. Lord of Contagion, Typhus, Lord of Virulence. We've got Malignant Plague Caster here that I kit bashed out of a Chaos Sorcerer. We got the standard Malignant Plague Caster, 3 Foetid Virion. I've got 2 left to get to complete the set. We have 20 Poxwalkers. Over here, we obviously have Morty. We've got 6 Death Shroud. We've got 5 Blight Lords and Lord Felthius's cohort, which are essentially more Blight Lords. This is the bit I think that I'm proudest of. What I really like about Death Guard, take Space Marines as your example. If you want to have, I don't know, 20 intercessors, 30 intercessors maybe, you got to get 3 boxes of 10, and they're all kind of, you know, you can kit bash them and you can do different things, but they're all the same sculpts essentially. This is, I think, 26 Plague Marines, and not a single one is a duplicate sculpt, which is absolutely crazy. There were 7, these back 7 were from the Dark Imperium box, loved those. There was the Space Marine Heroes 3 box here, so that's another 6. Plague Caster is with them, he's not really part of that group, I guess, but I like him with them because they're from the same set essentially. We've got a normal box of 7. And then we've got 3 Plague Marine reinforcements, which were ridiculously priced. But whatever, we bought them in the boarding patrol when Arcs of Omen was a thing. And just recently, I managed to fish myself 3 easy build Plague Marines, which I think were part of 8th edition. that I never bought until just now. I managed to find them on eBay. I managed to get a really good deal. And yeah, 3 more unique Plague Marine sculpts, which makes me very happy. I think I'm only short of the Blister Pack Plague Champion and Standard Bearer. Once I've got those two, I think that's every single Plague Marine sculpt in my collection. Please tell me if I'm wrong. If anyone knows of other Plague Marine sculpts that exist out there that are completely unique, drop it in the comments. I'm going to hunt them down. But yeah, this is my collection. In 9th edition, I played them a little bit. I didn't play them a whole amount. And it was to varying degrees of success. Some games went really, really well. Some games went really, really terribly. But, you know, we had a good time. So far in 10th edition, I've only played 1 game with them. That was against Grey Knights. And it was after all of the updates to the indexes. But even with that, I was surprised just how well they did. It was a bit of a stomp, not gonna lie. Luckily, my opponent absolutely trounced me in the next game. So it was 1-1 at the end of the day. But yeah, that game was brutal. And the index rules are honestly quite a lot more fun than I expected they would be. So I'm getting this out a little bit ahead of time because I've got my entire YouTube schedule basically planned up until mid-March or something stupid like that. We're going to be doing Foetid February. So during the month of February, I'm basically going to be taking all of these kits. I'm going to be assessing where everything's up to, and I'm going to be batch painting as much as possible to try. The ultimate goal is to try and finish everything that you currently see on the table. I don't know how successful we're going to be, but we've got a whole month. There's going to be a couple of videos during the month about the Death Guard. So we're going to have we're going to start with appraising what we've got. We're going to have a guide on how I actually paint my Death Guard. Probably use one of these guys from the Easy Build kit. And at the end of the month, we're going to do a kind of before and after and see just how much progress we've managed to make. Once again, if you've got any suggestions for more Death Guard related things that we could do during February, drop them in the comments. Love to hear them. And I might change up my schedule if anything sounds really, really fun. Death Guard have been really, really fun painting project that I genuinely never expected to kind of get so invested in and enjoy this much. And I really hope you've enjoyed having a little look through some of my models. This has been kind of a short video, and truth is that the last couple of weeks have been mental at work, and we've got the whole build up to Christmas. I'm sure everybody understands. So I just wanted to get something fun out there that wasn't going to actually take me forever to kind of put together and edit. So here we go. So next week we're going to have a bit of a sit down chat like this, just without the models. And we're essentially just going to be talking a little bit about hobby insecurity, handling it in a healthy way, and I guess different kind of coping methods for comparing ourselves to other painters that we admire. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at my Death Guard, and yeah, we'll be back next week. See you there.